Well, prepare yourself for the worst, not the first page. My poor niece never uses one word when 20 will do. In Downton Abbey, a new era, the saga isn't wrapped up neatly. Instead, it leaves us eagerly awaiting more drama, even without Maggie Smith as Lady Violet. So, what do we know about the upcoming movie? Well, buckle up because Downton Abbey 3 is set for release in the UK and US on September 12, 2025. If you're shocked and excited, you're not alone. Here's the scoop on what we can expect from this highly anticipated sequel. Now that Downton Abbey 3 is officially happening, it's set to take the extended Crawley clan and their steadfast servants into the dynamic decade of the 1930s. Perhaps this time we'll see more focus on the next generation, with George, Sibby, and Marigold, the three eldest Crawley cousins, stepping into the spotlight. Downton Abbey creator Julian Fellowes will undoubtedly craft another intriguing scenario to bring outsiders into the grand estate, just as he did with the King and Queen in the first movie and the British film production in the second. The final shot of Downton Abbey, a new era, assures us that Lady Violet will never be forgotten. The sequel also concludes with the Crawley family generations united, welcoming Tom and Lucy's baby and preparing to face the future together, no matter what challenges lie ahead. Between the first two Downton Abbey movies, there was a 3-year gap, partly due to delays caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. History repeats itself as Downton Abbey, a new era, hit screens in 2022, with fans now waiting until 2025 for the next installment. Imelda Staunton, who portrays Lady Bagshaw, confirmed in a March 2024 interview on BBC Radio 2's Breakfast Show with Zoe Ball that a third and final Downton Abbey film was in the works, stating confidently, "There will be the final film." However, in 2022, her co-star Hugh Bonneville wasn't as certain about a third movie. He shared his thoughts with Radio Times, saying, "I thought for a while that maybe there was an energy to do a third one, but I suspect that's probably not the case. I think we probably quit on a high." Julian Fellowes, always open to more Downton Abbey stories, expressed his stance in May 2022, around the release of A New Era. He acknowledged the possibility of concluding the franchise with that film but remained open to future opportunities, saying, "The truth is, if they want more and the cast wants to do more, then I'm sure we'll find a way of delivering more. But I don't mind if it's run its course. I think that's fair enough too." That said, the official cast for Downton Abbey 3 has been locked in, promising a mix of familiar faces and intriguing new additions. Returning to grace the screen are Hugh Bonneville, Elizabeth McGovern, Michelle Dockery, Phyllis Logan, Robert James Collier, Joan Froggatt, Penelope Wilton, Leslie Nichol, Paul Giamatti, and Dominic West, reprising their beloved roles. Michelle Dockery expressed her excitement in a May 2024 announcement video, capturing the sentiment of the returning cast. "It feels amazing, a tad emotional. It's wonderful to all be back together again. You come back together, and it's like no time has passed at all." Joining them in this cinematic reunion are Laura Carmichael, Jim Carter, Alan Leach, Michael Fox, Raquel Cassidy, Brendan Coyle, Kevin Doyle, Harry Haddon-Payton, Sophie McShera, and Douglas Reith, adding new flavors to the ensemble. Jolie Richardson, Alexander Noah, Simon Russell Beale, and Artie Fran will bring fresh dynamics to the Downton Abbey universe. However, not every familiar face will return. Imelda Staunton's return as Lady Bagshaw remains uncertain despite her earlier confirmation of the third film. Sadly, Maggie Smith's iconic Dowager Countess will be notably absent, having passed away, a plot development hinted at since the first movie's conclusion. While a flashback could be a possibility, her return seems unlikely. Meanwhile, the return of Penelope Wilton as Isabel Crawley hasn't been confirmed either, despite her enthusiasm expressed in an April 2023 interview. Matthew Good's absence in A New Era, attributed to scheduling conflicts, may play into the storyline of Henry and Mary's relationship turbulence, potentially setting the stage for a significant narrative arc in the third installment. One intriguing possibility is Robert James Collier's return as Thomas Barrow, who accepted an offer to America at the end of A New Era. With Dominic West returning, there's speculation about Barrow's role in the upcoming film, though nothing is certain. As for Natalie Bay and Jonathan Zaki, their character story appears concluded with the transfer of the villa to the Crawleys, suggesting their absence in the next chapter. As for what we know about Downton Abbey 3's plot, the sequel Downton Abbey, A New Era doesn't explicitly set up a direct continuation. Instead, it allows time to progress naturally, showing the Crawleys and their staff moving forward with their lives. Julian Fellowes has hinted at potential directions for the third installment. One intriguing possibility is the Crawleys' struggle to adapt to the modernization of post-Edwardian England, especially with the looming threat of World War II. Unlike World War I, which was the backdrop for much of the TV series, the second global conflict had more immediate and widespread effects. This sets the stage for exploring how the family copes with the potential dangers to their loved ones and their ancestral home. The heart of Downton Abbey's appeal has always been its rich interpersonal dynamics and drama among its characters. Therefore, it wouldn't be surprising if the third movie delves into personal challenges faced by characters like Mary and Henry, potentially focusing on their marriage as a central plot point. Fans of the series and movies alike can anticipate a continuation that balances historical events with the intimate stories of the Crawleys and their loyal staff. As Downton Abbey 3 approaches, the possibilities for drama, romance, and historical intrigue are certainly ripe for exploration. And as for the romance between Mrs. Patmore and Mr. Mason in Downton Abbey, A New Era, it's a long-awaited development for fans of the series. Throughout the TV show, there was a subtle attraction between the two characters, but it never blossomed into anything more than occasional flirtation. With most of Downton's servants already settled into married life, such as Anna and John Bates, it was finally Mrs. Patmore's turn to find happiness. Daisy, who had a connection to both Mrs. Patmore and Mr. Mason through her late husband, Andy, played a pivotal role in reigniting their interest in each other. She saw how they cared for one another and wanted them to be happy. For Mr. Mason, the hesitation stemmed from traditional views about gender roles and his reluctance to depend on a woman. However, a heart-to-heart conversation over whiskey with Barrow, Mrs. Patmore's first name, helped him realize that happiness and companionship mattered more than outdated notions of independence. Ultimately, he agreed to move in with Mrs. Patmore, marking a significant step forward in their relationship. What are your thoughts on the romantic developments, like Mrs. Patmore and Mr. Mason finally finding happiness? Share your views and don't forget to suggest topics for future videos in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and we look forward to hearing from you. See you in the next one.